You already know who it is. Target individuals, CJBK. So, let me see. So, um, I'm connected to my home Wi-Fi, but now all of a sudden, every time I connect my phone to my home Wi-Fi, I get kicked off my own Wi-Fi. Reason being because if I'm not, I put my phone on airplane mode, right? I put it on airplane mode and then I turn the Wi-Fi on. I stop. I try to minimize the amount of cellular connectivity to well, cell towers, because what they basically are doing is they're forcing my phone to not connect to T-Mobile cell towers, but instead connect to um their digital cell towers. And like I've said in many videos before, in order for you to see these digital cell towers, you're not going to be able to find a physical location for them um, anywhere in the physical world. It's all a part of the metaverse in a sense, or like a augmented reality. So basically, you would have to download like an app that allows you to see um, digital towers or data transfers or anything like that. So yeah, there's a frequency, or like it's like a light frequency that's connected to my neck here, and what it does is basically heating the cells in my body. And what it does when the light, I think most TIs can probably acknowledge this. Let me turn the fan off because I don't know how much of that you're hearing. Um so basically when this light frequency makes contact with the body, it's heating up the cells in the body. And as it's heating up the cells, it's also splitting, I guess, the oxygen and hydrogen is splitting the molecules apart. And then what happens is it's like trying to find ways to exit the body. Um, it's almost as if feeling like someone stuck a tube into your neck or into whatever part of your body. It could be your chest, could be maybe places inside of your skull. Because remember, near infrared light can actually penetrate through not just the skin but also through the bone. And with the right frequency amplification or modulation, it can basically heat up the cells, split the cells, and then force, I guess, energy to be released from the cells. In that essence, it's also destroying the cells and also creating, um, basically, creating cancerous cells in the body. So, which is odd because when you look up the research in what they would call photobiomodulation, they use near infrared light to actually penetrate through the skull and to heal different maybe damaged nerves or neurons in the brain, especially when it comes to like people who are suffering from like dementia or other type of psychological illnesses. But what they're doing is they basically found a way to weaponize it. Yeah, so if you see me do that, that's because what's happening is as the heat, as the beam, as the frequency is heating up the cells in my body, it's escaping through, I guess it's like salivary glands, or it's escaping through the glands like in my mouth. So it passes out like almost like maybe it's, I don't know if it's oxygen or if it's carbon, but there's like air escaping, not from my throat, but like literally from like Yeah, it's like air is escaping through the salivary glands or something like that. I don't even know where it's coming from, but yeah, it's like it comes this way, and that's been happening for God knows how long. Anyway, and then also electromagnetic energy emissions. It escapes through the fingers, right? The fingers and the hands. Primarily through the right hand, and something I've been noticing, probably either today or yesterday. Before I realized like I couldn't really get too much of a too much done as far as trying to, let's say, okay, how to put it, with my right hand I realized I can pull harmful energy from the body, right? But with the left hand, let's say the right hand is right now the right hand is holding this energy. Like sticking my hand in between, I could feel the connection of energy being pulled from my body. And it's not like I'm pulling my energy from my body. I'm pulling energy that's not of my body from my body. And but what I realized with my left hand, as I tense my hand and I kind of slowly imagine as I'm pushing down, I'm feeling energy basically being pushed down my arm, and then you can almost, and I can even almost like, well, really, I could feel the energy, like almost as if like it's thousands, if not millions, of frequencies passing like into my left hand, but it doesn't go through my left hand. It's like my left hand is working as like a wall, and it's pushing it. It literally just pulled all that energy off of my right arm. So now, right now, it feels like there's like this wall of energy that my left hand is actually pushing away, and then I just let that go. Now the problem with them having, my resonant frequency is that they'll just always reconnect. So they'll always reconnect. Um, right now, if I split my body in half, the whole right side of my body is heated up. I'm in my bedroom, so as I mentioned before, whatever's going on with this side, whatever's going on with this side of the room, there is a ton of highly dense energy all right here. And I mean, you can see I'm on the fourth floor. There's really nothing. There's really nothing out there. There's nothing out there but like, there's a school right there. There's nobody outside. But for whatever reason, there's this really dense energy all right here. And in like, I don't know if I maybe just have like electromagnetic hypersensitivity, but there's this huge dense energy that's all right here. And it's kind of like it's covering the entire right side of my body. So if I were to lay down on my graphene infused mattress protector cover from Protect-A-Bed, um, I'll just show people this again. I need to find a way to like invert this or whatever, but yeah, um, this actually turned out to be a really good investment, because Um, it does exactly what it says it would do. In the description, like it literally takes a lot of energy that your body doesn't need because your body will regulate itself with energy. You know, your body will make sure you always have a certain amount of energy in you. But when I lay down, like on my right side on the mattress protector, it pulls the energy that I don't need in my body, and then I guess it transfer it into the mattress. Under on the underside of the mattress cover, there's another type of material. I guess it's like a type of material that keeps the energy from trying to go back up. So when I'm laying down, it goes down, right? It goes down, but it doesn't come back up. Only problem is I'm being triangulated or having, there's probably a digital cell tower somewhere in this vicinity that's like transmitting, um, frequencies that's going through this wall or whatever the case may be. But then also, there's also the Sirius 3. I think it's either Sirius 3 or Sirius 2 satellite. Either way, I mentioned this before too that retired satellites can be and are being hacked by hackers. And with the technological capabilities and all the hardware that's in a satellite, I mean, just remember, satellites transmit extreme amounts of data. Satellites basically can, they have all types of sensors and imagery hardware. And, you know, when you think about how there are thousands and thousands of satellites that are beaming this near infrared light, this basically this radiation on the earth. It's encasing the earth in basically electro smog, like electromagnetic smog. And then when you combine that with the contrails or chemtrails, and then you got the HARP radio frequency towers, and you got, I mean, there's a number of different things that's going on. And then when you also think about how with you know in defense weaponry, now they're attacking my left knee. So you normally what that happens, I find the exact spot where it's at. So here's the main spot. I kind of tense up my hand and then I pull. As I pull, I feel the energy of their, like I feel their harmful energy come into my palm. Notice how as I'm talking, that's when all the noise starts, right? And as I kind of bounce like this, the energy that they're transferring into my knee is pulling here. Now I can take my hand and fold like this, and the energy is still here, right? I pull this way, and now the energy begins to stream like this. This is one of the reasons why I'm titling this particular live stream as the power of chi. Now, I just got chills, so now that's how I know I'm about to say something good. If you ever went like was walking through a park or whatever, and you seen like whether they're probably Asian or just anybody doing these very slow, methodical movements, right? And they're basically channeling energy that's all around them. Even just in this movement here, I just actually pushed negative energy from my body into my right hand. And as I kind of move my hand out like this, I could feel like a magnetic pull of energy pulling into my right palm. And then I can flip my hand this way and I can push. Now, the reason why they move slow like that is because you want to be able to feel the presence of the energy. And you can't do it if you're moving fast. If you're moving fast, then you're burning energy. So, the way you can actually feel the presence of the energy that's being used to attack you is you have to use slow movements. Slow movements is how you really feel the energy that's around you. So imagine you have an aura around your entire body, right? There is an aura around your entire body. And your aura actually expands out probably, as wide as your wingspan. That's how big your aura would be. To the technological world, they would consider it your body area network. Everything that's spiritual, right? They're putting a technological term to it. You know, your spiritual energy, your vibrational energy, they would call it your emotional energy. You know, what else? Yeah, they basically try to put techno pagan terms to spiritual to on top of spirituality. That's also another way you know that they're basically not of God. They are of something else. They are worshiping something else. They are not people of God. They are worshiping something else. Um, I've said this before. I'm like, man, the Amish and most of these indigenous tribes and the ones who don't really use technology or electricity at all, they knew what was up. They knew what was up a long time ago, but we're here now. We're here. We're in this. And quite honestly, I don't see I don't see any positive thing in running and hiding or, you know, basically trying to see if we can duck our heads in the sand and hope for the best. Um, I believe that prayer is very important. Reading scripture is very important. Um, Even if you don't believe in doing all of the ritual practices and going to church, trust me, I don't go to church every Sunday. I only, quite honestly, I really only go to church if it's like maybe a special event at my mother's church, or maybe for whatever reason I was compelled to go to church. But to go to church every Sunday, that hasn't really been a part of me. That I haven't felt compelled to go to church every Sunday. And then I've also been reading this book. Um, I've been reading this book. Hold on, let me get the book. Hold on one second. I think you could probably hear them talking in the background. Cause I sure can. And that's not even V2K that I'm here. All right. Oh, the reason why I'm putting my headphones on is because I am listening to well, It's a healing frequency on YouTube. For like 741 hertz, eliminate toxins, cleanse infections, remove harmful energy, draining elements, stuff like that. I can attest to listening to healing frequencies and have definitely found a lot of benefits to healing frequencies. It don't stop attacks. Healing frequencies don't stop attacks, but certain ones can if you know exactly where they're attacking, right? So um like I said in a video before, when they're attacking my knee, right? I have a frequency generator app on my phone. Haven't been able to use it for a while because I lost the adapter piece, for my iPhone. I don't use earbuds or anything that's Bluetooth powered because I figure I got enough um, electronics and radiation surrounding me every day. I'm not gonna get the Bluetooth earbuds too. Um, but also headphones. You also want to be mindful of headphones because some headphones have like large magnets on the inside, and they can actually use that electromagnetic field from the headphones to focus um, frequency attacks or energy attacks, on into your ears or into your head. But yeah. So with the frequency generator app, Um, if you have an iPhone, it's called Brain EQ. Um, I haven't really found like the best known frequency generator app for Android, but I would say you most likely want to use one where you can set a carrier wave and a beat, right? The carrier wave will be the one that has the carrier wave one would be, let's say, okay, 285 hertz is being used for stimulating the healing of cuts, burns, and what is it? Cuts, burns, and something else. Well, but yeah, cuts and burns is something else, but I can't remember. You set 285 as the carrier wave, right? For the beat there are it's going to be most likely it's going to be much smaller. I think the beat is for like how many times how many times the wave goes ups and downs, something like that. I forgot. But the beat, right? um 9.7, right? 9.7 is the frequency for stimulating the healing of ligaments, right? So if they're basically focusing um, energy, or they're focusing this light based energy on your ligaments, and you feel like they're trying to burn the cartilage in your knee, set the carrier wave for 285 hertz, and then you set the beat for 9.7 hertz. Press play and watch. I kid you not. The moment you do that, right? Like I told people, when they're attacking you, just take your hand and you place it over the exact spot where they're hurting you at, right? More than likely, you're gonna feel that area very hot. You're gonna feel like a magnetic almost presence to it, and it's gonna be like a beam, or like imagine like something concentrated like going into your body. Then on top of that, hell, I know they're trying to attack me now because as I'm placing my hand over my knee, my hand just literally sucked in. It like literally sucked into my knee. So now, as I said it, they're trying to focus their attack on my knee. But then, interesting enough, as I pull away and I'm tensing my hand as I pull away, I could feel. their wave right on the back of my hand, right? And then as I'm doing this, I'm feeling the energy of their wave passing through my hand, and it's also like I can flick it. As I'm flicking it like this, I could feel the energy wave being flicked in between my fingers. I can't make this stuff up. But anyway, yeah, so do that, and also you will feel vibration. Remember, we're talking about resonance. We're talking about frequency resonance. One, all they have to do is find the resonance of a particular cell, a particular, muscle or ligament or bone. All they have to do is find the resonance of that part of your body. Set that. I guess what it would be. I guess what they would do is they will be setting. How does a resonance work again? It's like they basically send a well, it's a light. So I guess the light would basically when as they're scanning through your body, right? The light can actually extract information, also send information. So they're extracting the frequency measurement of that area. Once it locks on to that frequency measurement, then what they would do is they would throw on top of it like another frequency, which is probably a frequency that can damage that area. So whatever the frequency resonance for your knee or the ligament of your knee, they would use that as the carrier wave, and then add on top of that a frequency that will cause harm or damage to the knee. Anyway, this is the book I have been reading lately. Well, it's inverted for you, but it's called "What's Behind the New World Order." What, or better yet, the hidden agenda almost no one dares to discuss. What's behind the New World Order? How it will affect you, and you know, I haven't finished the book yet, but it's amazing that the very first page, it talks about the early Christians. It talks about how the early Christians, like the very beginning of Christianity, those who were the true followers and followed, things the way Christ wanted us all to follow. Not like with all the denominations and all the confusion and all the separating and all the stuff that's happening today. Um, Let me see. I highlighted something here. Right. So it says Christians were falsely accused of the most dreadful crimes and declared to be the cause of great calamities, famine, pestilence, and earthquake. They were condemned as rebels against the empire, as enemies of religion, and pests to society. Great numbers were thrown to wild beasts or burned alive at the amphitheaters. Some were crucified, others were covered with the skins of wild animals and thrust into the arena to be torn by dogs. Vast multitudes assembled to enjoy the sights and greeted their dying agonies with laughter and applause. For TIs who know about remote neural monitoring and how they broadcast everything that they do to us, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar? I gotta laugh at it because it's like we're repeating history. We're repeating history. That's why I don't even bother with allowing myself to be fearful of anything anymore because it's like I know we're repeating it, and I'm getting chills as I say it because it's like it makes no sense to be fearful of anything anymore because all we're doing is repeating history. Of course, we don't want to die from the physical world, but I mean, honestly, can we actually stop from dying? I mean, yeah, we might be able to stop ourselves from dying for like maybe whatever. But at the end of the day, when God is ready to bring you up, that's it. When God feels like it's time for you to go, that's it. Some people some people would have lived out their purpose in this world, you know, whether your purpose was ill intended or your purpose was to actually give light and encouragement to people. But at the end of the day, we all got to die at some point, you know, and there's no knowing of when, where, or how we're going to die, but just know we're all going to die. And, you know, energy can't be destroyed. So that means that our spirit has to go somewhere. Our spirit has to transfer from this world or this dimension and go somewhere else. And quite honestly, I'm very spiritual, and I believe in, if you know, I believe in fallen angels, and I believe in um, energy that we can't see, but they are still a very presence in this world. And yeah, let me see, and then skim a little bit more. In vain were Satan's efforts to destroy the church of Christ by violence. God's workmen were slain, but his work went steadily forward. Said a Christian, you may torment, afflict, and vex us. The more we are mowed down, the more we spring up again. The blood of Christians is seed. Tertullian Apology, paragraph 50. Thousands were in prison and slain, but others sprang up to fill their places. I just got chills reading that part because when you think about it, that's letting you know right there, it doesn't matter what they do to you. It's almost kind of selfish for you to it's almost kind of selfish in a sense. I mean, if you believe Christ died for our sins just so that he can show us that when he was resurrected, he showed us that there is a life after this. You know, our bodies are only supposed to last probably no more than 120 years, and but with all the pollutants and how they're treating our food supply and everything like that, most of us ain't gonna live past 80. Most people aren't even living past 70, you know. But I digress. Right, and I'm gonna just read a couple more. Now the great adversary endeavored to gain by artifice, what he had failed to secure by force. Persecution ceased, and in its place were substituted the dangerous allurements of temporal prosperity and worldly honor. I'm gonna read that part again because that might have went over the heads of some people. Now the great adversary endeavored to gain by artifice what he had failed to secure by force. Persecution ceased, and in its place were substituted the dangerous allurements of temporal prosperity and worldly honor. Idolaters were led to receive a part of the Christian faith while they rejected other essential truths. They professed to accept Jesus as the Son of God and to believe in his death and resurrection, but they had no conviction of sin and felt no need of repentance or of a change of heart. Uh, Once again, it's called, what's behind the New World Order, right? That basically goes into how the, the early Christians were slaughtered, and then, might as well call them the Luciferians and all the people who were basically followers of Baphomet and the devil and the beast and all. They all infiltrated the churches and created all these different offsprings of Christianity and whatnot. I mean, when people start talking about, oh, they're like a such and such, Christian, that I'm like, look, I don't know what all that mean, and quite honestly, no disrespect, but I don't really care to know what all that stuff mean. Do you believe in genuine love? Do you believe in genuine peace? Do you believe in not causing harm to anyone, especially if they haven't done anything to you? Do you believe in not stealing from people? Do you believe in always paying back your debts? That's those are character traits. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not really paying attention to what denomination that you are. I'm looking at your character. That's how I judge people, on their character. You know, and I know it's not my place to judge anyone, but I base my interaction or my energy around a person based on their character. With what's going on with gang stalking and whatnot. In you could look at Psalms. Turn look, get you a Bible and just read through like the first 10 Psalms. Read through the first um 10 chapters of Psalms, and you will see that when it comes to gang stalking and targeted individuals, and just people who just try to coerce others into doing harm to other people, that it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. So they're basically doing everything that has been happening for centuries. We are living the lives of people who have been suffering in the past for centuries. So it's like we know what side we're on. They just don't know what side they're on. When you really think about it, they don't know what side they're on. They only seeing it as, oh, you know, it's a lot of us. We got technology, we got weapons, we got money, we got materials, we got the cars, we got houses, we got access to government, we got access to government, funding, we got access to the police, which they probably coerced. We got access to doctors, which they probably coerced. We got access to all these different things. Y'all don't have nothing. Yeah, but see, the thing about it is when you are a true believer of God and the way Christ moves and how he taught us not to actually be of the world, all of that stuff that they have, when it's wiped from their hands or they no longer can obtain that stuff, or if all that stuff were to be destroyed, their consciousness, everything about their existence will go up in smoke just like that. It's like when you think about like, you know, and I feel sorry for them too, but think about people who will be like millionaires, or they're like, extremely, famous people, whatever. They got all this money. You would think, they you got money, so what are you still sad about? What are you still da da da? And then all of a sudden they killing themselves. Or even worse, when somebody who was a CEO, or someone who basically like was used to a certain lifestyle, and they lost all their money, first thing they think about is, I can't live anymore. I can't live like this, and then they kill themselves. They don't have the love of God in them. They don't have that connection with the creator that reminds them, just because you don't have things doesn't mean that your life is over. And that's kind of like the problem with, like with a lot of with certain people around the world, not just in our society, because our society, we basically ostracize, or we ridicule people who don't have things, and say, damn, I don't know how you do it. You don't got a car, you don't make a lot of money, I don't know how you do it. But at the same time, that person who doesn't have much, they have so much more than the person who have all those things. Peace is one. Peace is one, because if you can mentally make yourself like unattached to things, make yourself mentally not feeling like you need to have things in order for you to be happy. You will have learned and mastered so much in your life just from that one thought, because you can sustain yourself on that one thought. I mean, when you think about how many homeless people that's in the world right now, especially if you want to look at New York, California, probably Florida, don't you think all those people probably should have, you know, killed themselves too? I mean, like they're homeless. You know, a lot of them don't have any money. A lot of them can't afford. You know, sometimes they can't even afford food. So you would think to yourself like, dang, you know, I'm surprised they didn't off themselves. But at the same time, it's like a lot of them actually have peace, even though they don't have a lot of things or they don't have access to the things that we have. They have peace. They is the there's a grace. There is something that God is doing for them that's keeping them alive still. Their bodies might not be all that healthy, but their spirits are still strong. Why? Because God and Christ still has favor over them, because they're the ones who, you know, are being ostracized. They're the ones who, you know, the world gave up on, you know. So, for the most part, just always remember, you are always truly in control of yourself. They can use all the technology they want to manipulate your frequencies or cause you pain, but you know what? Ask for guidance. And one thing in this prayer, right? I've heard this said many times before. You have to be very, very specific about what you pray for. I mean, very specific. I mean, if you take the time to write out a business plan and you're planning out all this, you need to be just as detailed in your prayers for what you want. I wouldn't necessarily say, Lord, I want to wish death on my enemies. Because, I mean, think about it like this. Even Christ himself didn't wish death on nobody. If anything, Christ was sent to this earth to actually see if he can fix those people who were doing all the wrongdoings of this earth. Even though they killed him, so, but and look, I'm honest. Yes, that's a beer, but for the most part, I don't like getting drunk. Getting drunk feels horrible. Like I've learned, I'm 33 years old. Getting drunk feels horrible. I had a long day at work. So now what they're doing, okay, so they just heterodyne me, right? And they've been doing it for a while. And as they've been doing it, so one frequency, let me see. So one frequency is higher than the other, right? And what they're basically doing is probably transmitting some other frequency to give me the sense of like vertigo, or they're causing like almost like head trauma, or it's like imagine getting hit with like some type of air that passes through your skull, but it hits directly into your brain, right? And then all of a sudden you feel this loss of balance. You see, I'm just sitting here, right? But for whatever reason, I feel like something. It feels like something's like shift. Is like something's hitting my brain. I don't feel it on my skull, but it's mostly on the brain itself. So it's like now. So here I'm using my chi again So in my hand right now, there is a large amount of frequencies that's coming from my head, aiming all right here, and it's pulling into my right hand. Now, if I turn my hand this way, I could follow where exactly it's coming from, right? Now, I wish I had like a scalar wave detector, um, an electromagnetic radiation tester won't be able to detect that type of energy. It'll only really detect energy from like like the phone, or like if I put my tester near the lamp, it would detect that radiation. But we're talking about scalar energy. Scalar energy, you need a specific, like a special type of detector for that. Um, and the reason why I'm doing this live is because they have a like a they're really good with interfering with my network connectivity. So it just like it makes it like it forces the videos to take longer. It forces the videos to take longer to actually upload. So for like a 15 to 20 minute video that would normally take no more than like 10 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes, all of a sudden when you try to upload, it would say like 7 hours, 9 hours. And I'm like, that's impossible because I'm using a LTE network, T-Mobile. I'm using the LTE network, or I'm using a Wi-Fi router, Optimum. So it's like, how could like a 20 minute, 15, 20 minute video take 7 or 8 hours if I'm using your so-called fast network, right? But we all know that the cell phone companies are in on it. We all know that um, we all know that and I already learned that local police can't do nothing with it. If anything, they're just as corrupted. Let me take that one back. They're just as coerced as anyone else. Why? Because they don't necessarily have the equipment to detect the people that are doing the things to us. Um, and then on top of that, when you think about it, we're talking about hijacking the central nervous system. We're talking about people who basically are using technology to hijack a person's body, you know. And I posted a video where, like my last video, where I was just like calling out to white hat hackers, because I'm like, white hat hackers are they're hackers, but they're like the ones who seek to expose, corrupt people, governments, things like that. Like they hack into, you know, um, encrypted files, and they'll expose, who's been doing what, how much money was sent to this person, and things like that, or who been, watching like kitty porn and things like that. So I was calling out to white hackers, because I'm like, I don't know how to do all that, finding the dark web, and looking into how to find this and all that. I don't know how to do all that stuff. So, but I kind of figured it would be important for white hat hackers to know that if they didn't know already, somebody probably has you linked up to an encrypted cloud server somewhere. All you need to know is, one, if you ever feel ringings or like high pitched tones in your ear, but it doesn't but pain does not follow. Because remember, tinnitus for some reason usually follows with pain, and then tinnitus is also concurrent, right? Heterodyning, it only persists for like when the initial contact is made, you hear the tone, the pitch tones for, you know, they're trying their hardest right now. Let me see if I can pinch it real quick. Yeah, I've learned that if I focus just enough, so like right now, I have a wave in between my thumb and my fingers, and it's also going through my hand. If I squeeze just a little bit, I could actually feel the I guess it's like the near infrared light frequency. And then if I just squeeze tight and just close my fist, I then also feel the frequency. I could feel the energy of that light, basically feeling like it's being suffocated in a sense. Now, if I pull it away, now I feel the energy kind of streaming through the bottom of my hand and is going up to where the source is. And then, but the other part is still trying to come out, and it's still linked to me. No matter what, they have my resonant frequency, so they're always going to be able to reconnect to me with anything that they want to do to me. They're always going to be able to reconnect to me. Um, yeah, and the more you hold it, the more you feel it. Actually, the longer you hold it, the more you actually feel it in your hands. And you know what? Let me remind y'all of this too. Use spiritual discernment, please. Always try to remember that certain things you don't need to certain things you don't always need to address. You know, so like one day today, well, I said one day today. There was a delivery I was doing earlier today, right? And I'm not gonna mention the address or anything like that, but um, I went to go like I just placed the packages in front of their door. I took the picture like, and then the dog was like barking behind the door, and I was like, hi, hi. You know, I love dogs, and so so every time I said hi, the dog was like, alright. And then I start to walk away, right? And I'm standing by the elevator. Like their door was like here, the elevator's right here. And then I hear the woman come up to the door, and she hasn't opened the door yet. And then it sounds like she says, "The crazy guy is there, right?" And then when she opens the door, the dog runs out and he runs to me. And the dog doesn't bite me. The dog is just like excited. It doesn't like do anything to me. The dog is just like excited and it runs to me. And then she goes, "Oh, oh, come here." What was I think it was like Louis or something like that, or Leonard. Yeah, I think she called the dog Leonard. And the dog runs over to me, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And I'm thinking to myself, I originally wanted to make a quick little video about how this lady called me the crazy guy, but then I stopped myself and I was like, you know what? She could also be calling her dog a crazy guy, right? So I was like, you know what? That's one of those things where you just have to choose what you want to actually address. You know, there's certain things you have to make sure you don't make yourself seem you know there are certain things you have to pick and choose what to address, because you got to remember we're dealing with covert harassment, right? Covert meaning it's not going to be that obvious. It's they're going to do it in very secretive ways. It's on you to control how you respond to things in your environment. Because remember, we're basically dealing with a system or a matrix of people who are basically programmed, or even better, who get paid to gaslight you to make you seem like you are crazy. Now, as you're watching me, you see I'm lucid, you see I'm articulated, and plus I got patents and scientific studies and research studies. They don't necessarily talk about the weaponization of these technologies, but it talks about how these technologies are used to heal people. And it's no secret that the government makes deals and contracts with these with the tech industry and the medical industry, to see if they can weaponize these things that that are being created, right? Just look up Steve Hoffman, right? STEVEHOFFMAN. He is like a super wealthy, intelligent tech CEO, and he is largely invested in technology that that technology, the same technology that's being used on us, basically. Um, and he says in his presentations that the government contact the Defense Department contacts him, and they ask him if he can help them develop their weapons, because they know he's really good in the field of artificial intelligence, um, you know artificial intelligence, brain computer interface, augmented reality, all that type of stuff, right? So, and then one thing I also know, the longer you hold it and you actually move it around to other parts of your body where you feel like they are connected, where they have near infrared light frequencies connected to you, this actually works as like a vacuum. It basically, like, if you run it past another connection that's made to your body, right, you will feel it suck in that frequency as well. It will suck into your hand, and it almost works as if like my hand gets tighter, even though I'm not actually squeezing my hand tighter. But I think the magnetic pressure of the frequencies are forcing the hand to squeeze tighter. Then after a while, you'll probably start to feel your hand go numb. That's when you just start to let. That's when you let it go. But it just is it's all proof that we are being attacked with electromagnetic you know frequencies and radiation, things of that sort. Um, but yeah, back to what I was originally referring to when it comes to okay, so the power of chi. Yes, the power of chi. As electromagnetic beings, right? We actually have power within us that here on the western hemisphere, we don't necessarily know that much about it. Why? Because we have been we have been literally kind of like duped, or not told about the things that are more natural when it comes to healing ourselves. There's a reason why a lot of Eastern medicines focus on trying to use more natural healing methods, rather than going straight for drugs, or things that are chemical and whatnot. They always go straight for things that are either natural in a sense where you can use your own energy meditation or herbs and roots and fruits and vegetables and things of that sort. Yeah, what I just did, I pinched the frequency. So they have a frequency that they attach to my back as well. They are going ham on my sciatic nerve like every day. Every day my sciatic nerve is always vibrating. Um Someone's knocking at my door.
I guess I ain't gonna never get my printer connected.
I I know I keep looking at it on the floor. I'm gonna do it tonight before I go to bed.
No, you ain't got time. You gotta get some
What
sleep.
is it? No, I'll be all right. Yeah, my mother, she been waiting to get her printer connected for so long. Yeah, so basically what they also did to her old printer, I mentioned this in a video before, her print cartridge slider keeps saying that the ink cartridges are damaged. So like even though you would put like a brand new a brand new print cartridge in the printer, it would say, oh, it's damaged, and you would check with a flashlight, nothing looks broken, whatever. So then when we called the HP remote assistance guy, and first thing out of his mouth was, well, after we did the remote view thing, and I had the camera, had my phone, well, I had my cousin's phone, because when they were trying to send, when he was trying to send me the text message so I can actually be able to click on it and then open the camera for him to be able to see through my phone, I think they were basically intercepting that text message, because he's tried to send it 3 times, but I never got it. So then I asked my cousin, who just happened to be here with us, I asked if I could use her phone. He sent it 1 time and boom, it went straight through. I can't make this up. Anyway, as I'm showing him the inside of the printer, right? And he's like looking at it, he's like, nothing seems like it's broken or whatever, da da da. So he's even in the computer, you know, checking out the printer and the hardware, the settings, and all that stuff. Then all of a sudden he asked me this one question, and when he said that, I know exactly. I mean, I already knew what was happening anyway, because I'm already well aware that, like, if they have access to the power grid of a building or whatever, they can basically do whatever they want. Remember, we're dealing with electricity. So, so, um, what is that? Oh, so he then asked me, question: have you experienced any power surges recently, or power outages? And I was like, no. And then, cause I mean, everything in the house or in everything in the living room was working just fine. But when you understand how this weaponry works, if you remember the if I hope you all have read or at least downloaded the scalar document, the scalar weaponization document from 1984. You can find it in the video where I talk about scalar weaponization. They basically, if something already has an electromagnetic field, right? They'll take the two scalar transmitters or two transmitters and focus the light, focus the the transmissions, or they focus the waves from those transmitters on that electromagnetic field. Once they actually intercept each other onto that electromagnetic field of that device or person, they can either add energy to that area. It basically creates an area within that electromagnetic field. They can add energy to that area, basically making it highly charged and radioactive, or they can extract energy from it, basically sucking the life out of it. Um, yeah. So when he said, um, a power surge can actually throw off the circuitry of the hardware. I knew automatically, and funny thing was at the end of the phone call, and when when we realized we couldn't fix it or whatever, I asked the guy, I was like, "This is a recorded phone conversation, right?" He was like, "Yes, sir." I was like, "Thank you. I might need this for future reference." So I'm like, HP, remember, keep that phone call. But yeah. So what else? I forgot where I was going with all this, but yeah. Basically, I don't know. I'm gonna just go back. I don't forgot because right now my head is just like swollen with frequencies. Ooh, okay, that's much better. Cause it's like, remember they have your whole entire body encased with this radiation, right? And then they focus it on your mind. They focus it on your brain. So that's what gives you that brain fog, right? When you have that brain fog, that's because they have so many frequencies concentrated on your brain, and it feels like your brain is filled up with like something like pressure. TIs know about what I'm talking about, that pressure in the head. That's because they have a ton of frequencies focused on your brain, and it fills up. And that's the other way they also do it too. They do it through your ear canal. So they basically, when they heterodyne you, they're like jamming tons of frequencies into your through your ears, and then it fills up into your head as well. So it's a whole thing, man. But at the end of the day, that's why I'm telling people, look, study the power of chi. Learn qigong exercises. You can One of the easiest things they you can look up on YouTube is how to do an energy ball. An energy ball, you start with your hands close like this. My hands are. You breathe in, and as you're breathing out, you will feel like pressure, like you will feel like a denseness in the air as you bring your hands closer together, right? And then you can even shape the ball. You can expand it, and you can also wipe it out. You can roll the energy, expand, and you can even hold it into position like this, right? And then you can shape it. And as you move your hands around, you can basically feel. Oh, wait, I forget. Are people writing me comments? I don't know. But anyway, um, oh wow, I was talking for a long time. Um, yeah. Always remember, anytime you do like certain things dealing with energy, it sits in the space. So even if you were to create this energy ball and you pushed it over here, you might not feel it here, but stick your hand over here and you'll feel the energy over there. Um, but then that's also when you think about the contrails and all the sprayings they're doing, they're basically filling the entire globe with all these chemicals and the nanoparticles that are positively charged, and yeah, it increases the density in the air, you know. So yeah, power of chi, meditation, exercise. Now, one thing I have learned is exercise is extremely important in this sense because what exercise does is it helps you burn energy. It helps you use the energy. So like, some people would say, don't you ever get tired of doing that job, because I'm riding around on a bike or whatnot. It's like this is job is more than just a job. And the handlers, they're trying everything they can to try to see if they can prevent me from working this job, because the more I'm moving, the more I'm using the energy, or the more I'm moving, the more I'm basically expelling the energy. um but what they're doing is they're trying to attack my knees, so it makes it hard for me to walk or move around. They're attacking my back, so then it makes it harder for me to pick things up. They're attacking me in ways to try to see if they can make me bedridden. So then all they needed to do is have me be at home where they can radiate the hell out of me all day until I probably die of cancer or some type of disease or whatever the case may be. And they got this whole thing where they're constantly saying, he needs to go to prison. They're trying to set me up to go to prison for something that I didn't do. And they're always talking about how the city is watching a movie on you. Remember we are in a very technological world where information can be digitalized, falsified, and also shared, like 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 passing. I don't know, like people nowadays, people don't never cross reference anything. They see it that first time and they'll believe it. Most of the time, first or second time, they'll just go ahead and believe it. So even if the images that they're looking at may not be true, they're not going to care enough to want to look to see if it is true or not. So whatever images that they could be looking at, God knows what they're looking at. Um, I still have to just stand in the light. And that's one thing I tell people too, is like, you gotta stand in the light. Don't be afraid to stand in the light, because if you cower yourself in the darkness, you're just giving the enemy even more um opportunity to just attack you and get away with it. There's a reason why I do choose to not. Well, there's a reason why I choose to still go out. Why I still like to go out in public. I'll still go to restaurants. If they poison my food, all right, well, that karma's on them. If I go to a bar and I want to have some fun and drinks, you know, God forbid, if he spits in my drink, if I'm not to get sick, then hey, God was looking out for me. That's what I'm saying. Is like I can't live my life in fear and then cower myself into a corner because they're out there. They've been out there for centuries. Remember that. They've been out there for centuries and they're forever recruiting. They wanted to recruit me. They wanted me to become a police officer for the NYPD. I told them I am not going to be no police officer because I have no urge to be a police officer. I would never do a job that I actually don't want to do. I would never do a job just for the money of it. Why? Because that would take away from my peace. I care a lot about my peace, but I also respect noble jobs. Like being a police officer, I believe is a noble job. Even though, people join for a number of different reasons. But at the same time, I'm not going to join the police force because, someone with secret technology is telling me that I'm supposed to be a police officer. You know, um, and then every time I go and make deliveries, I can always hear somebody, you know, whispering to each other as I walk away. He's not supposed to be delivering packages. You know, I mean, it's not like I have a contagious virus that can transfer from packages. You know, like I don't have like no type of disease that can literally like basically kill anybody or hospitalize anybody. You know, I don't have anything that can cause harm to anyone. You know, so plus I mean my hands I mean I don't have any cuts or anything on my hands or whatever. That was a heavy one. That left one was very very loud. So I think they really hated that I'm saying all this. So, but yeah, like I said, they want to try to see if they could get me in the dark so then they could take me out the way they want to. But I choose not to be in the dark. I choose to stand in the light. If they're going to take me out, they're going to do it in the light. People getting shot in broad daylight every day. So I'm like, I'm not going to be any different. If you're going to take me out, you're going to take me out in a pure light of God. But hey, even the devil had to ask God permission to mess with Job. Even the devil had to ask God for permission to mess with Job. So, I'm gonna end on that note. Yeah. Remember everything I said. If you can, I promise you, find this book. Find this book. Who's the authors? I don't even know where this Inspiration Books East. Okay. There's a website you could probably find this at. It's www.inbookseast.org. Yeah, they're based out in Jemison, Alabama. Inspiration Books East Incorporated. Let me see. Oh wait, I didn't even see this one down here. It says Pope calls for a New World Order, Australian Associated Press, December 27th, 2005. Pope Benedict, in his first Christmas address, urged humanity to unite against terrorism, poverty, environmental blight, and called for a New World Order to correct that part of the. Yeah, this part. Yeah, this part is all ripped off right here, so I don't even know. Um, to correct economic imbalances. Yeah, that statement in itself just already sounds shady. So hey, like I always say, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.